Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Monday, May 1st, 2023. Check one, check one. Time to get up and move your body. You know what time it is. All right, all right. Check 1 2 1 2. First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
There it is.
Is this thing on?
Testing, 1 2.
Hey.
Oh yeah. Time to get up and move your body. Yeah. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the D is
Call Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd. All of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners, what's going on with y'all this morning? Monday, May 1st, 2023.
Man.
Already the month of May, y'all. What's going on? I'm trying to wake up.
Already. Yeah, little fog brain box.
Yes. How y'all doing? How was your weekend? Let us know in the chat. Let us know. We've been looking forward to speaking to the chat chimers this morning on this News Monday. So let us know what's going on with you. What's the news? What's the latest?
Yeah. What's going on in your world? What's news to you is the question.
Yeah.
Let us know what you did over the weekend. Of course, there's always things happening around the city. Big shout out to everybody that showed up to brother Marshall Taylor's street naming ceremony.
Yes.
Had the incomparable brother Walter Brooks out there doing his thing. I saw some video. I think Miss Erica Felt was out there. Drop some.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's we shared some video on Friends of. I did see some of that. Paul, if I'm not mistaken, you were out there as well.
I was. Yeah, I didn't see Miss Hickerfeld out there though. I don't know if I missed her or what was going on, but yeah, there was a lot of people out there. I got to talk to a few. Brother Brooks in particular was definitely good to catch up with and talk to. It was a good showing, man. It was pretty emotional event, really.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty, everybody loved Brother Taylor, man. So
man, any highlights?
Why Shao got up and gave a speech that was real rousing. Yeah, she was super good speech. Just gave a little history, Also, what's the sister's name that she's associated with Malcolm X? I can't remember her name right now. That's a shame. But she got up and did a poem that was really strong, man.
Okay.
And everybody got up and told stories about how, when they weren't getting the education that they needed to get, they can go to African American bookstore. They can get that education there. Brother Taylor was always down to teach, was always down to open up the back portion of the store and hold classes. Yep. Everybody that understands anything about real history, when they talk about when they talk about 1619, when they talk about everything that has to do with like actual history that's coming out now, Brother Taylor been teaching that for years and years. So
man, real pillar in the community. Of course, he was a board member of the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation for a long time. Anybody who has been out to the grounds and you've seen laid eyes on that field, even into the twilight days of his years, you know what I mean, brother Taylor would get out there and cut that, hop on a ride more and cut that himself.
Yeah.
Man, he like really a pillar in the community, man, and he's missed.
Most deaf, man, most deaf. He was friends with Jesse Allen. So he was telling me stories about how him and Jesse Allen were best friends and running back in the day, and hanging out and just many good stories he had over the years. So me and him had a nice bond, and we used to always bring over anybody who we had working with us at Mind and Soul. One of the
Mm-hmm.
initiations was to go over there and have a conversation with Brother Taylor, no matter who it was.
Man,
So it was good. It was good. It was really good of everybody to get together, honor him, made the street naming make sense. Willie Hamilton out there, of course, helping organize all of that. Yeah, it was great. When I showed up, Brother Brooks was speaking. So yeah. Oh, Pop says I met him. Didn't know who you were talking about. Yeah, bro. Yeah, Marshall Taylor.
yeah.
He's been around for a long time. He ended up being a elder and a mentor to me and a whole bunch of people out here. So in a short time, I was, it took me about 3 or 4 years. 3 or 4 years after I got in town, I think is when I really, really connected with him. And he's been very important and mentor for a while. Passed away a few years back, and everybody's still reeling from him, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. For me, it's just kind of coming home from college once I graduated, and kind of express how politically charged that moment was. Like Obama's second reelection, Trayvon Martin, like it was a lot going on. Mike Brown, like when all that Black Lives Matter energy was really, really, really brewing up.
Right.
I was in school then, and then I graduated and came back home, and the African American bookstore was like the first place I went. Like I had to, you know what I mean, to keep that
Right.
energy going, to go straight from an HBCU campus back to North Omaha, Nebraska, and to have that bookstore kind of as a beacon light, for my journey and my growth was definitely big, man. So and even though Brother Taylor is no longer with us, the bookstore is. So definitely,
Yeah.
please make sure we keep that going. Make sure that that resource is still a resource in the community. For other generations and others like we've expressed. So
Yeah.
yeah,
A black
definitely did. Go ahead,
black bookstore is a gem
man.
in the whole country, man. There's not even a lot left. So it's just yeah, it's a gym. It's a gym to have, and shout out to the family that's keeping that open. They're open Wednesday through Saturday now, and yeah, everybody hit it up. But rest in peace, Marshall Taylor.
Man,
Brother's an icon in living, bro. He was an icon living, and now he's an icon in his passing. And yeah, he's got a legacy. He can seriously continue on. I'm happy that we were a part of that. I'm happy we were part of what he approved of doing around
man.
around the neighborhood.
For sure, for sure. So definitely again check out the bookstore, not just books, but you can get your creams and your jewelry and your
Yeah,
your man get some.
your dashiki and your
Yeah, get it all. So definitely check it out.
hey, good morning to everybody. Pops, I didn't jump into the chat real quick. Pops says good Monday morning, First Sky fam, and mad love from Las Vegas. Thanks, Pop.
Hey,
Appreciate you. Led Keisha says marvelous Monday has arrived. Hey yo, that's what's up. Also, Wanda Lewis gives us a good morning over on Facebook. Thank you for joining us. Pop says you guys are sounding great this morning. Thanks, Pops.
thank you.
Appreciate that. Christy Nord gives us a good morning. Mama Guy says good morning. Gwen Easter gives us a good morning. Rick Fulton in the house says Kings don't play very good defense against Curry yesterday. Okay, he giving us
The sports update
I have to have this yeah, the sports update corner.
a little bit.
Yeah, man. He says I have an idea who might be heard on the Vinny tapes. Oh, okay. Interesting.
Talking about those wiretaps.
The wiretaps. Amy H. Dot gives us a good morning, fam. Good morning. Tony Johnson 12 says all more reason to demand more than street sign. Willie Hamilton got upset when I told him that. Yeah, no, that's unfortunate. But like we said, I think I definitely believe in the gesture, and then of course the action after the gesture.
Yeah.
So that's
So
why number one thing is to call out and make sure that we all frequent the African American bookstore
that part.
and keep it in business
That
and
part.
continue the legacy. You know
That's
what
the
I mean?
main thing. Keep the main thing the main thing. But I am curious. What other ideas do you have?
Yeah,
What else would you like to see to honor Brother Taylor?
yeah. Honor Brother Taylor or
The
man,
bookstore or whatever he fought for.
I would dream about a school. You know what I'm saying? Like we always went to the classes and toyed around. You even taught a class over there.
I did.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I always think about that. I'm like, where's the let's make an African
School?
academy. Yeah, or something. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So there's definitely a need. I mean, we're in a situation right now in education where they're pulling back. Some states ain't even or are trying to pull back even learning about Martin Luther King now. So
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, look at Florida; they're going crazy.
now now
Even
more than now more than ever, we need that
yeah,
bookstore.
yeah. Even Disney's chiming up about what's going on in
Yeah,
Florida. Yeah, yeah.
Dis-
If you got Disney calling you racist, then you know it's
Disney about to make a CRT ride.
man.
Come and learn
Yeah,
about the real history. They about to make a 1619 around the world in a day ride or something.
yeah, yeah.
They
And
trying to get militant on them because of
man,
DeSantis.
and the only black princess they got is a frog.
They got
All right. Anyway, man, let us know what else happened over the weekend. What else is going on in your world? If you did not make it to the street signing, what did you do? So yeah, let us know what's happening in your world. Of course, we have several things to talk about. We do have some special guests. We kind of mentioned it last weekend. We both of us had the pleasure of speaking to Brother Qasim from the BAA. He will be coming through. Definitely looking forward to that conversation with him, and really just getting an update on everything that's been going on with the BAA. There's some conversations about that happening frequently, actually. So
yes.
yeah, looking forward to that, man. The BAA gets down again. Got the mayor in the chat. He says I have a statue of the gentleman right next to a lending library. Okay,
Mm,
okay, but yeah, definitely want to give a shout out to the mayor, Mayor Sanchez, for going out there to the BAA. I believe the flag football practice grounds
mm.
and to their facility, showing them some drone work and just engaging with the young men. That's really all they need, man. It's just people to engage with them, people to intrigue their mind.
Hey, Tony Johnson 12 is giving you one of his ideas you asked for. He said told them to advocate for school districts to buy books every year, thousands of orders right there.
Mm,
That'd be
there you
great.
go.
I don't. That school district seems like they're moving away from buying anything like
In the complete opposite direction.
that. But yeah, that would be the thing to do for sure. Yeah, this is a good idea. Keep the ideas flowing on that, man.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
If you got any more, let us know. I mean, this would be the grounds to maybe plant that seed to get some of that, get that next step going. I do agree. We can't just stop there, but I don't feel like we shouldn't acknowledge or celebrate the street sign as well.
There you go. Brick Al gives us a good morning. Appreciate you very
Hey,
much. Hey,
hey.
what are we gonna be talking about today on this News Monday, May
Yeah,
1st?
yeah. Aside from talking to Brother Qasim, we will be having Bridget Fogarty from El Perico and the Reader to stop through and speak with us briefly about what's going on in her world and, updated with our partners over at the Reader and El Perico, aka Pioneer Media. Definitely shout out to the team, the squad over there.
Yep.
Also, a lot of work coming out of our partners at the Nebraska Examiner, man. Many stories, a lot of good reporting happening. There's some things we definitely want to reiterate. Again, last week we got into the DHHS story, and I definitely want to remind people that the clock is ticking and you may be at risk of, again, losing your Medicaid. Actually, 145,000 Nebraskans possibly at risk, again, of losing coverage through Medicaid as the renewal months of April and May begin to be processed. Again, that's on the back end of those COVID relief changes, and some of that's ending. So we'll definitely be talking about that. There's some action that you can do. So reminding you on that, definitely don't want to lose your Medicaid. Also looking at what's going on with the Omaha Chamber. They're chiming up about the legislature. Again, the clock is ticking in the legislature. And apparently, some of the moves that they've been making, they're hurting the bottom line. The chamber is chiming up about some of the diversity, equity, and inclusion moves or bills that are threatening diversity, equity, and inclusion. Definitely talking about the transgender bills and some of the LGBTQIA bills, just to name a few, that may be actually taking some business away from the state. So we'll definitely be talking about that. And very interesting on them chiming up. And then also we didn't get into the hot news, but we definitely have to on today talking about the burning of the OOIC building and several other houses and just structures throughout North Omaha. Still asking the question of what's going on with that. The more it happens, the more our braises, our eyebrows kind of get scrunched up. Like, what's going on with that?
Hmm.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that and more throughout the show. Of course, as always, if there's anything on your hearts and minds that we're not talking about, again, this is a conversation. So, live alive with us. Feel free to jump into the chat. Let us know what's going on. And we'll try to get into it. In the meantime, in between time, let's start the show off on the right foot. Paul B.
On the good foot.
Man, what you got for him?
Let's go. Welcome. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners, thanks for everybody joining us this morning. It is Monday, May the 1st, 2023. This is News Monday. We will definitely be going through some of the latest news articles. If you have any ideas or any articles or anything that's in the news as well that needs to be talked about, please go ahead and put that in the chat. All you chat chimers out there. And any ghost listeners that are feeling the spirit, go ahead and jump on and put your comment in as well. We really appreciate that. And we appreciate everybody who is joining us today this early in the morning. We do have special guests coming in, Brother Qasim from the Black Agenda Alliance, aka the BAA. We'll definitely be speaking to him. And also Bridget Fogarty, who's coming in from The Reader and El Perico, respectively, the newspaper there. And she's going to come in and talk about what's going on with everything there. I know that El Perico was in the news lately talking about some things that, we forget sometimes that it's there because it's not just a Spanish-speaking portion of the magazine. There's also other articles there, too, just different kinds of focuses sometimes on different areas of town. And so definitely check that out. And if you guys don't know about the printed version of The Reader, El Perico is on the back. So they share the same newspaper, and you can read from both sides of the paper to check out what's going on. That's what we're talking about here today as well. So shout out to Bridget Fogarty for agreeing to come on. Brother Qasim, we'll definitely get to talking to them pretty soon. Jumping in the chat, Rick Fulton is speculating on a few things about those wiretaps. I don't know if those wiretaps are going to be able to be made public, but I do know that so that people were asking for that. So it would be interesting to see who he was talking to for sure.
Yeah.
Tony Johnson 12 in the chat is saying so much can be done than just street signs. He said the same things to Brother Sherman Wells. We know that Brother Sherman Wells was pushing for to get Vivian Strong some recognition on the street sign as well. We also know that Sherman Wells is working to, he's the kind of person that's really pushing for some more vision. He wants people to really see and understand what happened to that family member of his. And he's not just going to stop with the street sign because that's the kind of brother he is. So most definitely it'd be interesting to see what else can come from those things. But, first of all, having that awareness that these things are happening and giving people props with the street sign namings and so on is a start. We definitely think it's a start too. But there should be some action on every situation, even after that. So we appreciate that. Ariels 402 says, hit the like button on your way in. Lucia Rodriguez gives us some buenos dias. Good morning to you. Appreciate you coming in as well. If you are on Facebook or YouTube, and do us a favor and share the show so we can get as many people in the room as possible to have a more diverse conversation. Really appreciate that. Judy Prince in the chat says, new mega GOP donor trying to buy the Lincoln mayor election. We're definitely going to talk about that today.
Man.
The Peed family, a new family that we need to be keeping our eye on, says the Peed family has plowed $1.6 million into Geist's elected. Get Geist elected. That was definitely in the news today. We pulled that, and we're going to be talking about that a little bit too, because apparently they're not really explaining why they want to do that. But it kind of brings up this whole money in politics idea in the first place. Back in the forefront of the conversation. When are they going to take money out of politics? Probably never. But probably if they did.
Probably never.
Yeah, they're gonna keep on spending a bunch of money to make sure there's gonna be a bunch of money spent in politics. They probably never will stop. But man, it can feel real corrupt when that happens. So, yeah, definitely be taking a look at that today and more. In the meantime, between time before our guest comes on, buddy, what's first on the roster?
Well, actually, let's go ahead and start right there. Let's pick up right there with that conversation because that's going to lead us into pretty much everything we're going to be talking about today, and continuing the conversation from last season, which was the theme of following the money. It's very interesting that this news is coming out. Paul and I kind of had the same reaction when we saw the headline, like, very interesting. How money and politics are always related, and especially talked about in these news articles. If you remember, several years, well, not several years ago, about a year or so ago now. Actually, might have been 2 years now when Mayor Mean Jane was reelected and she was running for a campaign. I know, Paul, you remember this headline reading, basically saying that she was a shoe in to win because she had so many dollars set aside before the election even really started. Like, it's like, oh well, she's ahead so many dollars, and well, it's not looking good. It just almost feels like, you know, they're not hiding the fact that the government can be bought. This government is being bought, which is a very, very interesting thing when you hear about this new family. Again, as Paul mentioned, the Peed family, and their business Sandhills Global, which apparently has no relation to the Ricketts family, but they have eclipsed all other donors in attempts to help former state senator Susan Geis, who is running for mayor in Lincoln. Again, as Paul mentioned, $1.6 million poured into the Lincoln mayor's race alone, an unprecedented sum that represents the latest burst in a multi-year deluge that at the federal level rivals the political spending by famed Las Vegas casino magnate and titan of Silicon Valley.
Hmm.
So a lot of big money moves being made in politics in the area. And actually, as of April 17th, the Peeds and Sandhills were responsible for nearly 2/3 of total contributions guys have received. So making huge drops in the bucket. And I mean, speaking of the Ricketts family, like, you can really take that into consideration too. We'll be talking about this voter ID bill a little later on in the show. But remember, Ricketts' mom paid for that petition. It was Ricketts and his mom and the Ricketts family paid for like 80 to 90% of the petition. Like, literally, the money that paid the petitioners came from the Ricketts family. So again, this relationship between finances and politics is always very, very interesting. But
Mhm.
Paul, what say you about the news of this new family? Definitely, you being kind of in relationship and close with some of the big donor families, the Sherwoods and the Whites is out there. What say you?
You know, I never. Well, first of all, the headline is what grabbed me because the headline. Let me see. Let me just grab it real quick because the headline had with this little dash at the end says, "And declining to say why,"
Hmm.
which was so the headline is and this is what is this this is KMTV news.
Channel 3.
Channel 3. A new mega donor family is changing Nebraska political races and declining to say why. And that to me was I can see that was the purpose of their article there is to say, you know, they're being quiet about it. Not that it really matters. You're speaking volumes with who it is you're backing with your dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Really no need to say anything. Had me kind of look back and go see what the deal was with Geist and it's kind of obvious the reason why they're shoveling so much money is they first of all they can, second of all they're trying to back a certain candidate for political reasons. So I don't really know what else they would need to say, but the fact that even this particular reporter feels that there's some shade,
Mm-hmm.
there's a little shade behind why they're doing what they're doing. Um, a lot of money being given, which is always concerning especially for certain candidates. So it's just one of those things. It's like we were keeping our eye on what the Ricketts family was doing, and if this family has now outspent them on certain things, then it's just the whole point is the race is being bought
Yeah.
and paid for. We talk about how Pillen is in there, how Ricketts spent a whole bunch of money to get Pillen in there, and then Pillen turned right around and put him in office. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
there's so much of that going on. It's crazy, and this is just I don't know what to do about it except for to keep your eye on it, understand like what's going on. Uh, you know, Tony Johnson too. Tony Johnson 12 in the chat says something that kind of resonated with me too. He said, we were talking about if money will ever come out of politics. He says never. Both sides always asking for money
Yeah.
because the Republicans have a bunch of money behind them all the time. They're always throwing tons and tons of money behind what they want to try to do, and the Democrats seem to have no recourse but to play that game. They're accepting the premise of the game and trying to match dollars in order to try to, you know, and unfortunately that's the game. I don't know any other way to play the game when they're allowed to spend that kind of money on political races. Don't really know how else to do that. But to try to match that, if you're going to try to run, I guess you're going to try to
Man.
match it. We've had several Democratic people running on the show that are like Tony Vargas, who raised a ton of money to battle. That's just the game. So I, again, like we can't even attribute it to any one side. Until Congress or whoever decides to take money out of politics, which like I said, will
Yeah.
never happen.
Man, that's a stretch.
Then it really is like who got the most money to spend on a campaign.
Yeah.
When Obama ran for president, he had so many grassroots people because he was reaching out to people online, which no other candidate was doing. He
Mm-hmm.
was kind of the first one to really touch everybody who was kind of who touched the internet generation. But he had to raise a whole bunch of money too. He had private and he had family donors and stuff like that too. I mean, it really is like if you have the most money, then
I wouldn't even say that though. I want to push back on that concept, man, because I don't even think it's just the money. Like even if certain individuals, or I would say even if we were to get the money, we also understand that the rules aren't the same. And, it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it, and that's kind of par for the course. So we're gonna go ahead and roll that right into this new Pillen story, because it's very interesting how this is all playing out. If you remember, pardon me, I forget the brother's name, but again, he was just formerly the head of the DED, Department of Economic Development, Tony Goins.
hmm
No, just head of the Department of Economic Development. There was a whole hoopla about this cigar bar that he owned getting federal ARPA funds, and as a result, he was asked to step down, or kind of pushed or forced to step down, however we want to phrase that, wherever that actually happened. And now we hear news about Pillen and a company that he owns getting about $25 million in federal grant. Yet the reporting and just the whole air about it is not the same.
hmm
Very interesting. Again, Nebraska Governor Jim Pillen is one of about 200 farmer owners of a pork processing plant in Fremont, Nebraska, that was awarded a $25 million federal grant to help add a second shift. Pillen, whose family runs a Columbus-based hog operation, Pillen Family Farms, is also part owner of Holstone Farms, park processing company that revived the former Hormel Park plant in Fremont, Nebraska. The governor's most recent financial interest disclosure form, which was filed back in March with the Nebraska Accountability and Disclosure Commission, the same commission that again handled the Tony Goins situation, still listed Pillen as a Holstone board member. Again, Holstone received the grant last month as a part of the U.S. Department of Agriculture's efforts to help smaller local meat processors compete against larger national and international conglomerates. So again, $25 million coming to the Pillen family and their business, and the rich get richer, if you will.
Yeah, and how do you feel? What do you think about this comparison that you're making between this situation and Tony Goins?
I just feel like it's very interesting, because there was a lot of talk about conflict of interest, and things like that. Again, yes, Tony Goins was the director of the Department of Economic Development, and a lot of the funds, have to come through that. Those actually the funds that Tony Goins got had to come through the DED. But nothing happens in the state that doesn't go across the governor's desk. So the fact that again, those federal funds came to the state and the governor was a part of that. Again, Wanda Lewis. I mean, do I have to really explain it? Wanda Lewis kind of calling it out, double standards.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like to me.
Yep. Definitely seems like that. So yeah, that that's where, to me, that's where I go with it. It feels like there's a double standard. It feels like I don't know, man. I hate to, it's like there's no way to not feel like there's some corruption going on here when there's so much money coming in. Because in not that Tony Goins, that situation, he didn't, it wasn't even the same kind of situation. Like, according to him, that's not how this went. Like, he's not, he was, he's part owner. He was part owner of that situation, but it was still different than what it is we're even reading here. But still, you got money coming in, especially federal dollars. When federal dollars are coming in, they're trying to figure out where it can go. There's rules, and there's a set rules that the feds give you for how to spend that money. You got to spend that money a certain way. They have some checks on that. So a lot of times that what we're talking about isn't even a scandalous or illegal. It's legal. Most of the time, what they set in place, they can legally do. It's not like they're doing anything illegal, but it does. In this particular case, it does feel very unethical.
Right. I mean, slavery was legal.
Yeah.
There was laws protecting that, and actually, it was laws supporting that whole industry of slavery. Like it was an industry. It was a industry that was protected by the government.
Yeah.
So yes, the issue of legality versus morality or ethics. Yes, that's a thing.
I like what Von Chapman is saying in the chat right now. It says, good morning to you too. He says, there is a difference between financially supporting a candidate and financially influencing candidates for personal gain. Harlan Crow was doing the latter with and for Supreme Justice Clarence Thomas. And he's been putting a lot of articles in there about Clarence Thomas. We haven't really talked too much about the Justice Thomas taking, going on extravagant trips and taking big gifts from a donor. From somebody who's really pushing for the Republican Party, and all the hot water that he probably will, that they're gonna try to act like he's in, but really not. There's I don't see really much consequences coming from that situation. But yeah, I mean, that's the idea, to be able to go around telling people you got a judge in your pocket because you can influence them one way or another based on how much money you're giving them and all that. Yes, difference between supporting a candidate financially. But again, this could be reason why they're being kind of tight-lipped about why they are. You just don't know. I mean, it's it's that feeling of there's got to be some. It feels like some corruption going on when you when you put that much money behind a candidate. Like, how does that candidate just go ahead and take them millions and 1 point whatever millions of dollars and then not be influenced by what it is that these donors are saying? Right. Wanda Lewis says the money raised is often more than the position pays. So, how does that work? Where does that money go in a campaign? What do you do? You more yard signs? You know what I'm saying? Like what
TV ads, radio ads, mailers.
Right. So supposedly that's where that money goes.
Right, supposedly. Gas for the bus.
Right. Von Chapman says they are bribing these candidates, plain and simple. Yeah. Wanda Lewis says keep your eyes on the mayor of Omaha and who her donors are.
It's a good point.
We were talking about the mayor a little earlier. Mark Manor in the chat said, and our candidate against Stothard was as lame as possible. Who was the candidate? I can't remember who that was that ran against Stothard. Let us know who that was. Also, Judy Prince says, huge article in the World Herald, and it seems like they are creating, I think you're trying to say creating Flatwater Free Press. Are you talking about the
crediting?
Film?
I think she's saying crediting.
Oh, crediting. Okay, cool. Huge article in the World Herald. It seems like they're crediting Flatwater Free Press. Yeah, we'll have to go double check on that. Yeah, we'll take a look at that.
Well, if she's talking about the P story, then yes, there are some numbers from Flatwater. Because shout out to Matt Wynn and the team at Flatwater, especially Matt Wynn. He's a numbers guy. He's gonna dig into the data and pull out the story. And I guess that is another interesting point about this whole conversation that we really didn't get into,
Mm-hmm.
as far as brother Von Chapman kind of alluding to, when there's when you're supporting financially, and then when you're kind of just influencing. And really, it seems like this P family, that's what they're doing based on the numbers of how they've donated previously versus recently. Again, from 2000 to 2020, the Peds and their business Sandhills only spent about $140,000 on in-state races, or roughly about $7,000 a year. Which, when you kind of look at it, that's over the course of 20 years, making a $7,000 a year donation. That's not really a large investment. That's looks like a reasonable donation from a business towards whatever political thing they support. That looks like supporting.
Yeah.
However, over the last 2 years, that spending has dramatically spiked. Again, just in this Geist election alone, they have spent 1.6 million. We just said over the last 20 years they spent about 140,000. Just in the last election, just in Geist's election alone, they spent 1.6 million, almost paying for 2/3 of her whole campaign. That is a bought and paid for campaign.
Yeah, and that, hence the reason why they are asking the question why, and then hence the reason why the Pede family has been tight-lipped about it.
Man,
Ariel 402 says, is the Pede family part of the Piedmont cattle family that sells high-end meat? No,
no.
I don't think so. There's this Pede family here is P-E-E-D,
Yeah.
not P-E-I-D. Also,
I think they're in real estate.
oh, okay. Um, Man, oh, Mark Matter says R.G. Neary. This is the reason why I did not remember
R.J. Neary.
who ran against Stothard, because you're right. It was R.J. Neary. But I remember now the race. We have two beautiful black women that was running, and they were doing very, very well. Alicia Shelton was one of, you know what I'm saying? They were running.
Cameron
And,
Snipes was
and
running.
it came down to R.J. Neary as the candidate, and then that was like a real lackluster kind of race there. As you know, I remember thinking, I wonder if they placed him there for. I don't even know, but it felt very, very strange, and I think I put it out of my mind right after it happened, which is the reason why I didn't remember who ran against Stothard.
Man,
Because that was when we had just gotten into really, really covering the candidates and stuff, and we had the sisters on all the time, who was running, and felt like everybody, the people that were running had a really good chance. A really good chance, and then R.J. Neary was always in there, like, not answering questions all the way, and it just felt like, what are you, man? Come on, what you ain't,
gotta get together.
well, get it together, man. Like I felt like that the whole time. Every time I watched all those debates over at Culture House and everything that they did, man, and it was always like he didn't even know what they were asking him half the time. Felt strange. Ariel's 402 says, oh, he already asked that. Brother Knight is in the chat. Good morning. Says, what type of business does the Geist family own? Let's follow the money and find out. Also, what was behind Geist was who was it was Pillen that was behind Geist, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Well, we have to go back. I have to go back and look, but Mark Manor says the Piedmont family also donates to those candidates. How much though? How much? I'm sorry. Yes, Brother Johnson. Thank you, Jasmine Harris, not Alicia Shelton. But Jasmine Harris was the one running. For that seat, and man, and I remember, all I remember is that they kept on saying nobody was even close. Jean Stothard got her third term because she had so much money in the game. They said it was so much money in the game. What does the money do? I keep going back to that part. What does the money do? The money puts more ads on TV, more spots, more mailers, more marketing, and really can we give marketing that much credit?
That's what I'm thinking, because again, I say, if we want to combat that, like if it really comes down to that, more money, it comes down to more money for the campaign, and the money is only going to marketing to raise awareness, then like why can't, because if you know anything about marketing, word of mouth is some of the best marketing you could ever get. Think about the restaurants and how many places and how many things you do on the word of a friend telling you, I had X, Y, and Z experience, and you should or shouldn't do that.
Christy Nor in the chat a little earlier, who I know was a part of a lot of these people campaigns that we know. She said it's expensive to run for office. Also, she says ads and mailers. She's telling us where that money goes, and I keep on feeling though like there's only so much advertising can sway me to do.
That's what I'm saying.
If I'm a Coke drinker, Pepsi can put $1 billion in trying to get me to change over, but if I decided what I'm doing, I don't understand. I don't see how. I don't understand it. To me, it feels like, and maybe it's because we're in the business here of speaking to people of like mind. So it could be that's the way I think of things. I think of things like, well, it's first of all, I'm in the business. I'm in media. So I do know a little bit of something about advertising, and what I understand about advertising is that word of mouth from your peer is a bigger influence on you than any mailer, placard, commercial, yard sign, or anything could be. So it's to me, when I'm thinking about them, I'm thinking about things that they get together and do in order to talk and influence each other and put pressure on each other to do stuff. They put pressure on their own culture. It's in their culture to put pressure on each other to do things like you better, you're not a good old boy if you don't blah blah blah.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
Man.
That's more. I don't understand like how more millions of dollars on a campaign when we know that that you're gonna be influenced more by your peers. How does that work? It's almost like, where does that money go? It can't just be going to ads and mailers. It's got to be going to like maybe the car that they drive, or the limousine they drive around. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like it's got to be going to something that is giving them some kind of creature. I don't even know, but I just feel like you can put $500 million on somebody's campaign that just guaranteed to win because you got that many more commercials running.
That's how it's framed. That's how it's framed. That's the energy behind it.
Christy Dorn says part of the issue with Alicia was name recognition. Okay, I think before that was that we're in this red state and that was a black woman. But yes, no, not a lot of people knew her. But even if everybody knew her, I don't know if that was that was the biggest reason. She says, remember all those Tony ads Tony had? Tony didn't win either.
Are you talking about Tony Vargas?
I was. That's why I'm assuming that she's talking about. Yeah, Tony Vargas. I'm assuming that you're talking about Tony Vargas because Tony Vargas raised a lot of money, had a lot of ads out to run for governor, but he did not win with all that money spent.
I thought he did win.
Governor?
Oh no.
Tony Vargas did not win that race. He was running for governor. he went back to his legislative seat because he did not win. Pillen won.
But also to your point, he just won his last re-election for a seat, and that's when he raised all that money.
No, he raised all that money to run for governor, bro. That's why we had him on the show several times. So did Carol Blood. She raised a bunch of money too. Lost. Miss Erica Phelps says there are a lot of voters who not only don't know who they're going to vote for, but also don't know who all is even running. Advertising is important. I don't disagree. Brother Knight says attack ads sway public opinion faster. That's getting closer to my point. Attack ads, if they spending a bunch of money on attack ads, and they might sway some people a little bit more. Them attack ads are like dog whistles to me. Mm-hmm. They're like, this is the reason why you better not vote for this person if you're down with us. Christy North says canvassers. Canvassers were getting paid, getting a lot of loot. Campaign manager. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I can see spending money on that. Brother Knight says ads on television, which we know are a grip. Yeah. Millions of dollars. Christy North says the campaign staff. She says Miss Erica Phelps says her signs are still in my garage. Christy North says Dems poured into Tony Vargas, right? No, he was running for Congress.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he didn't run for governor because he ran against Bacon.
Bacon, that's right.
And he raised all that money, and if I'm not mistaken, he won.
I think no, he didn't win. Bacon is still in Congress, right? Tony Vargas went back to his legislative seat because he didn't win.
Says,
Blood ran for governor, right?
yeah.
I'm sorry, Judy Prince. Yeah, it wasn't. I misspoke on that. It wasn't Vargas that ran for governor.
Okay, Bacon did win.
Josh takes his blood for governor and Vargas for House representative. Thank you. Yeah. Point is, Tony Vargas raised more money than Don Bacon and didn't win. Tony lost to Bacon.
So to that point, that's also a thought that I'm having as far as it's not just the money and the mailers, but yeah, we did definitely need some more something. Fog brain boss. You know,
appreciate you guys keeping us on track though.
Yeah. That's we appreciate y'all. But my point is, it's more than just the money. It's a level of organization. Let's just call it what it is. It's a level of organization that isn't being met. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
The right or the red or whatever, however you want to, qualify or however you want to call the group. The Good Old Boy Network is a very strong network because it's well organized. Let's just call it what it is.
Better organized.
Right.
Stuart Brother Nice says because Tony didn't run attack ads. Tony stayed high, not low, and that might be the reason. I think that's why we're having this conversation right here. The point is all these nuanced ideas we have about what is the reason, what does work, what doesn't work, why do things work. I really kind of feel like when you have an idea of what kind of representative that you think ought to be in that seat, and you have prejudices against other people that are trying to run for that seat, that's going to influence you more than any ad. And I do think that there's something to those attack ads. First of all, everybody kind of thrives on the negative a lot of times. But second of all, there is some kind of dog whistle going on inside of attack ads, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, even the attack ads, the dog whistles, it all aligns with a pointed and directed message and viewpoint and agenda. It's all organized, directed, and everybody is in line. Of course, it took Trump to kind of cause some dissension in the ranks of the Republican Party and cause some infighting. It'll take something as divisive as Trump. But even still.
Vaughn Chapman in the chat says, when a Republican candidate can campaign in the middle of a Democratic stronghold and spend money on issues that impress Democrats, talk to how and exactly how Republican money is spent. Political strategy is the most important factor and the difference.
I'm telling you, they have at least they have a script.
It's not difficult to figure out what Democrats are pushing for either. They're very loudly pushing for some of the things that they are loudly pushing for too. But there's something else going on with the culture. It's almost like Democrat. If you're liberal, then you're kind of okay with everybody kind of wanting to think how they want to think and whatever. I don't see Democrats putting the same kind of pressure on another Democrat that Republicans put on Republicans. Sean McCarthy says, first of all, Tony Johnson 12 says they are not visible until begging for votes. Even then, see them one time. Yeah, but it's effective. Sean McCarthy says Republicans have a tremendous ability to ensure their type of candidate is representative in every open seat. Dems seem to mainly focus on the main seats, governor, Senate, etc. That's an interesting insight.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Let's see. Republicans seem to have the ability to have their type of candidate in all seats, especially school board. Okay. Miss Erica Phelps says Bacon plays the game well. We see the truth, however, by his actions in Congress. I think a lot of people that he comes and touches in our neighborhoods aren't seeing what he's doing in Congress. They just see him in town.
Yeah.
Glenn Easter in the chat, good morning, says Congressman Bacon showed up to many events and talks to people and has a good team. Tony was not as popular. Tony did run some negative ads. Oh, did he? Okay. I didn't see him. First of all, I ain't got cable, so that's another reason why. How do you get influenced by TV ads? Well, you got to have TV.
Watch TV. Yeah.
Judy Printer says, I have a friend who is so mad at senators from North Omaha not voting against the gun bill, I tried to explain as best I could that they are in a delicate situation and need to negotiate prison reform is so important. Not only that, they believed in they were fine with the gun bill. So that's goes to my point what you were talking about, Ms. Prinzler, about Democrats. Democrats are very they also they're very loudly speaking about what it is they want to, and there's no getting around that sometimes. Without understanding any kind of nuance. I appreciate you, Judy Prinzler, trying to explain some nuance to them on those subjects. But there's no room for anything on that side either when it comes to like what the agenda is, what they want. There's something lacking in the communication to other Democrats or other there's something that's lacking there that is not lacking on the Republican side. And anyway, I already feel funny about talking too much about the Republican side and the Democratic side in the first place. I know I'm kind of going left right here.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm with you. I'm definitely, you reading my mind. You reading my mind because it's like,
let's talk about the sides, bro. Like half the people that are talking about Democrats needed this and Democrats needed that ain't even trying to be Democrats. It's you can easily get into well who's the main opponent to the Republicans. Mm-hmm. And we're also talking to people who have Republican leanings as well, because really this is not that cut and dry left and right.
No.
Miss Erica Phelps says, I only remember the ads where Tony was shaded darker and they claimed he'd turn Omaha into Portland.
Okay.
Remember those attack ads, man? That's crazy. Christy Norris says the National Dem Party will put money in campaigns in red states. Will not put money? Is that right?
Yes, she said not.
Oh, there you go. Amy H. Dot says, I think it's all or nothing mentally. That is just hard to accomplish anything. That is just hard to accomplish anything. We're not going to agree on all things. We can start by what we do agree on. Mm-hmm. Mr. Eric felt the ads against Tony highlighted his allyship with black people like it was a bad thing. Dog whistling. Stuart Knight says, what Democrats don't get is that most liberals are socially conservative, need to drop the female gender, immigrants, and sexual agendas and focus more on male and male children initiatives. I mean, everybody has their opinion on what it is that we need to be focusing on, but I think that's one of the biggest problems to me is that there's never a candidate that's really representing everything that needs you're never going to get a candidate that's going to represent exactly everything that you believe, because everybody believes a bunch of different stuff. Mm-hmm. So
I feel like that's kind of it, because, and again, I definitely agree. Don't want to get stuck in this whole Republican Democratic dichotomy. But it is interesting. It does seem like there's one leaning towards the bottom line, which is dollars and cents, and it's kind of easier to agree on that. And then the other is kind of agreeing more or focusing more on social issues, and there's a lot of intersectionality that comes into play, and there's a lot of it's not as easy to agree on all of those things as it is to just agree on the bottom line, dollars and cents.
And then again, where are those dollars and cents going, and for what and why?
True.
With that, it is 7:53 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we do have some special guests coming on around the 8:00 hour. So let's get back to a couple of other things on this News Monday. As a matter of fact, let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and jump into a couple other stories. Great discussion. Thanks for everybody who's joined into the chat there and has so much to say and set us straight on facts. Because we up early just be talking. So
fog brain boss.
Got fog brain, boss. So, thanks for everybody who's chimed in. And we'll take a quick break and come right back again. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B. the Dove, Buddi3 Da Gawd. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You're listening to
Hey,
First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
in the morning.
I'll be the dove, Buddi3 Da Gawd. All of you
Hey.
chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners, even keeping me straight. I got a text from shout out to Beth who was like, got it wrong.
Tighten up.
Yes, we do need it. I just wolfed down another cup of coffee real quick, so hopefully it will get better with the brain fog. But thanks for joining us and keeping us straight on this Monday, this News Monday, May the 1st already.
Man.
May the 1st. May the 1st is already getting to be summertime out here, which is good. I'm looking forward to it warming up some.
Oh, yeah. No complaints. No complaints on this side.
Yep. Let us know what you guys got into this weekend. We still want to know if you were able to come out and do anything, anything important, any rallies that happened, any outside activities that happened since the weather got better. I want to give props to, of course, the legend, Brother Marshall Taylor.
Yeah, man.
Who had the street naming sign right there on Lake Street Saturday. And everybody that came out, shout out to Brother Brooks that spoke. Shout out to Wai Shao, man. She had, like I said, rousing speech, man. It was incredible. And of course, shout out to the family that is keeping the doors open, man, and welcoming us in. Open arms, and keep it alive. This is a definite jewel in our city. It's a jewel in our state. It's a jewel in the Midwest because we do not have a lot of African American bookstores, Black African bookstores anywhere in the country. Man, there's only a handful left, and this is one of them.
Last of a dying breed.
Yep. So go definitely check it out, man. Get the education that you need to get, and give it to some folks. Give it to some folks. I like the ideas about what we can do to really kind of make those things move as well, and not do more than just street naming, but get in there and get some education happening. Get it to the schools. Do all the things that we can do. So that's really what's up. Appreciate everybody that's joined us. We were talking about the Democrats Republican situation, money that's going in. Tony Johnson 12 says Democrats do not want to address declining numbers. We definitely can ask about that next time we have Precious on or whoever else we need to have on to ask those questions. Miss Erica Phelps says, by the way, I'm not a Tony fan, but the ads against him were gross and showed Republican Party's comfort at using racism and prejudice to get votes. Yep, it was dog whistles work the other way too. We see where you're coming from when it's like that. Kimber Snipes is over on YouTube giving us a good morning, everyone. Appreciate you for joining us this morning as well. Thank you. And I appreciate everybody that's joined us this early in the morning. It's coming up on 8 o'clock. We do have a special guest waiting in the wings.
Yeah, man.
We can go ahead and bring the special guest in, ladies and gentlemen. Bridget Fogarty from El Perico and the Reader. Good morning to you. How are you?
Hey guys, good morning everyone. It's a bright and
Good
early
morning.
Sunday. Got my coffee, so we're ready to go.
All right. That's we need to take a page out of your book.
Yeah.
Little fog brain this morning, a little foggy, but it's all right. Thanks for joining us, especially having to deal with family things as you were kind of telling me. So thank you for taking the time to meet with us. It's been a while. How have you been? How's everything going?
I know. I was just thinking that. I think the last time I was on was maybe like right before Christmas time, the holidays, New Year's. So yeah, things have been good. Things are good over at the Reader, El Perico. Still working hard, still putting out an issue every month. And I feel like this springtime is kind of a main time that we're getting ready for events. I mean, there's so many different things going on this summer. So we just had a couple of us set up a booth at Earth Day in Elmwood Park last week.
Nice.
Yeah, that was great. And then in a couple weeks, we'll be marching in the Cinco de Mayo parade down South 24th Street. So I feel like right now is just the time of everyone's kind of awakening to the spring and getting ready to actually see people and kind of emerge from our winter hibernation. At least that's how it feels to me.
Springtime is always my favorite time of year.
Yeah, you said that's what made you fall in love with Omaha, right?
That's what makes you fall in love everywhere. Go visit anywhere in the springtime. You'll fall in love with wherever you went to go visit. It's just the nature of things. I fooled around, went to Paris in the springtime one time, and I was like,
"Oh yeah, I'm not going back."
But yeah, man, Omaha is a beautiful place when you're from somewhere else and you see it for the first time. You see it in the spring, everything green, everything blooming. Especially when you come from California desert like I do. That's a beautiful place, and I do like it. I will say too, the juxtaposition between how a day with nice weather and a day with not nice weather makes you enjoy them nice weather days like nothing, like nobody's business. We'll be lucky if like the Cinco de Mayo parade happens on a nice day. You
Oh, we
know,
hope so, right? Yeah.
it's always a good time when that happens. Yeah, yeah. So
Man.
that's what's up. I appreciate you giving us some hints on what's going on this summer,
Yeah.
and getting our mouth all watery for the good times we're about to have. So yeah, that's what's up. What else you guys got going on? As far as like series of articles and things like that that's happening. You guys are always working on like some deep dive stuff. What's on the agenda now?
Yeah. So last time I was on with First Sky, I feel like we talked, I mean, the past couple times we've talked a lot with you guys in the chat chimers about our Disinvested series.
Yeah.
We actually wrapped at the start of 2023. So that was like a year-long series where we focused our reporting on covering inequities in 4 different sectors. So housing, education, criminal justice, and lastly was like social services, family services. So yeah, we focused our year 2022 on that reporting, and we did kind of a recap of our stories, what we learned, and how that kind of refocused our newsroom's. I don't want to say mission, but it definitely refocused us all as like an editorial team to say when we're reporting. It just reinstated the fact that like when we're reporting, we want to keep that focus and perspective on and lens on inequities and finding solutions in the inequities that we see in Omaha, the systemic inequities. So those are kind of the stories that it's been a couple months since that series. That series is still available on the Reader's website, thereader.com. But most recently, I feel like we've been really pivoting to report more on climate change. So I'm not sure if Chris Bowling may have been on to talk about this, but our newsroom was awarded a grant. So money to help us fund more local climate reporting. And what's cool is that, a lot of the times when we see like coverage on climate change or think about climate change, it's not the happiest topic. It's kind of doom and gloom, but this money and kind of training is from the Solutions Journalism Network. So it is an organization that helps journalists report on the solutions to some of the systemic problems that we're trying to report on and that we see in our communities. So we're taking the solutions focus in that reporting. And what that means is not just reporting on the issue, but it's exactly as it sounds, reporting on the solution. And one interesting kind of way that they make that stand out is saying, the example of, it's great news to cover something small, like, hey, there's a kid who's doing a lemonade stand on your block to raise money for the teachers or something like that. Like, that's great, but that's not a solution story. A solution story would say, hey, what's a program happening maybe here in Omaha or elsewhere that's helping like raise the pay for teachers or something like that. So getting to the root of a problem and seeing what solutions are working. And the cool thing about that is like we get to look at what's happening maybe here in Omaha, or if we don't see solutions here, what is happening elsewhere and how can people learn from that. So any of the stories that you'll see that are climate related, climate focused, just know that that's funded in part by this Climate Beacon Newsroom title that we've been granted through the Solutions Journalism Network. And we're hoping to include that solutions lens in the majority of our stories.
So let me ask you about that because I know that I think a lot of us are concerned about climate. We've kind of proven that over the course of the show. We've brought out some things and people have chimed up here about it. But I do know that we're also a little bit more hyper focused on climate stuff that's happening that affects like North and South Omaha, for instance. Would this grant allow you guys to be digging deep and writing about the coal plant and its effects on the neighborhood and so on and so forth? Is that part of would that be underneath the climate realm there that the grant would pay for?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not certain of the exact stories that we've got planned so far, but that's the type of story that would definitely be under that umbrella of funding. And I know that was a story that was in mind when Chris Bowling and John Heaston both applied for the grant. So I think we have the funding through the fall till September. But yeah, part of this grant is also to like keep climate a focus in your newsroom beyond that. So yeah, that would definitely be a story that we would want to pursue.
Yeah, that's what's up. You know, we think about when we hear climate change, in my mind immediately goes back to uh, the just global warming. You know, all the kind of big global arguments that everybody is having about climate in general. But I've learned that if you bring it back down to what's going on in the climate that's happening now and affecting us, and what's going on locally, that helps. So I'm glad that we're able to. I'm glad that you guys are able to do that under that grant, and we will definitely help provide some information from like people in our neighborhoods that understand it, just like we always do. This is the team up that we have with the Reader El Perico squad, and I'm glad that you guys are on that for sure. Yeah, that's kind of my main concern.
Okay. Well, I definitely want to acknowledge, shout out jumping into the chat really quickly, brother Tony Johnson 12, asking some good questions. And that is actually one story that might be a very good environmental story. We just covered these air, I forget the name, but there's some air filters that have been handed out to homeowners in North Omaha that they can put on their windows, and it gives real time data on the pollution in the air. It gives what's going on, the air quality in real time. And there's a story about those going out, but I think it might be interesting under this grant for the reader to kind of do a follow-up, maybe collect some of that data from the homeowners and really draw the picture of what what we got out of that. What was that solution as far as, again, looking at environment? That might be an interesting story to follow up on.
That was dope.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, I just wanted to acknowledge the other questions that Tony Johnson had. We will take those questions down, man. I'm glad that you're putting them in there. Anybody who's a chat chimer, you know that our relationship with El Perico and the reader is one where we sit in the editorial meetings with them, and we can kind of discuss, hey, this is what the people in our neighborhoods want to hear about, and that might end up being a story. So everybody do what Tony Johnson 12 is doing and put your ideas for stories in the chat. We'll definitely collect those and get them to them. So that we can discuss on whether or not we do that. Von Chapman is saying, with all due respect, where is the Omaha Star on any of the issues in North Omaha? Will the editor ever come on to First Sky and tell us what's happening with and from the Omaha Star perspective? Shout out to the reader for keeping the community informed. Yeah, we talk to Ms. Sanders all the time about coming on. We seem to we haven't been able to make that happen quite yet, but I do know that the part of the reason why the Omaha Star is doing some of the things that they're doing is because of John Heaston and what the reader and the help that they have given as well. And I know that they have a certain focus because Ms. Sanders is the editor there. They have a certain focus that they have on, but we're kind of sharing duties a little bit too. So, yeah, shout out to the reader for sure. Just like everybody else, we're all trying to gather. We're all trying to create a diverse newsroom. That seems to be something that every organization is lacking. So we're going to keep on trying to work on that. But yeah, right now I feel like when we have something that we need a deep dive on, the reader and El Perico have the capacity for the reporters going in and being able to go deep dive on stuff. And I'm happy that you guys are here doing what you're doing. Anything standing out that you are you personally are excited about reporting on, or any pet projects you're working on?
My exact question.
Great question. Yeah. So one thing I think would be great to chat about in our most recent issue, which will be coming out, I think this Thursday. Yeah, it should be hitting newsstands this weekend. I wrote about some of the like energy efficient changes people can make in their home through the Inflation Reduction Act. So all sounds super glamorous, right? Very like easy to understand. This is when I started reporting on it. So for anyone who, I'm sure some chat chammers may have heard this, maybe you've heard the name and you're like, what does that really mean? So the Inflation Reduction Act is a law from President Joe Biden, and it is one of the largest. It's aiming to bring energy efficient changes into local communities, millions of homes, And basically the goal is to reduce carbon emissions in the US. So there's a lot of different tiers of funding, whether it's, funding on the state level. The Nebraska Department of Environment and Energy applied for some state funding, $3 million to fund climate change planning. There's things on the local level, like Omaha. The city of Omaha and Council Bluffs were eligible for this funding to fund their climate planning. So there's all sorts of different levels, but specifically on the individual level, there are some things, some kind of benefits coming to anyone who, mostly to homeowners, to some renters, to help you make your home or your apartment more energy efficient. So I wrote a story about that in the next issue, and it kind of talks about this idea of weatherization, and it's making different changes in your home to lessen the amount of energy that you use. So, kind of like if you look around your home, you kind of know maybe if there's a draft in some corner, or maybe your heater. Like if you are using a lot of money on your energy bill, there might be different ways that you can make changes in your home or in your apartment. And you can lessen that energy bill, and in turn also lessen what's known as your energy burden. So I just learned about this. It's the percentage of your gross income of your household that you spend annually on energy bills. So in Omaha, actually, the OPPD, the Public Power District, did a study on energy burden a couple of years ago, and it shows that in their customer range, so that's probably most people watching this, if you're in Omaha, your low-income households put a much greater portion of their income into their power bills annually than non-low-income households do.
Yep.
It also showed that energy burden trends, so people who are renters or people who live in buildings in Omaha that were built before 1980, they also have higher energy burdens. So me, for example, I live in an apartment that was definitely built before 1980. On that scale, I'm also a renter. On that scale, I'm putting more of my income annually into my energy bills than maybe another someone who's living in a home that they own that is was built after 1980. And that's not to say every building is perfect after 1980, because there's plenty of code things that get up to date. But basically, these energy efficient changes that I can go into, you can also read in the story when it comes out next week. Those are things that you can do to lower that energy bill. So that's easier on your wallet. But then it's also something you can do to lower your emissions into the, pollution into the air and into the community. And so, that energy burden survey was really fascinating to me. And I can see if I can find a link and share it. It shows also, cut down by, there's other national resources that kind of show by zip code who has the highest energy burden. And unfortunately, it's low-income Black, Hispanic, and Native households nationwide. The same communities that are most affected and impacted by climate change, they have far higher energy burdens than their non-Hispanic white counterparts nationwide. So
That's
that was a bit of a ramble, but that's been really interesting to look into.
Yeah.
No, it is interesting. It just kind of reminds me of a statement that Michelle Chaunceclair always used to say: "It's very expensive to be poor." And that's one of the you're kind of laying it out in a very a plain, clear way. Again, is another example of those who are in the most need, the most disadvantaged, having to pay the most and being cost the most.
Gwenny's in the chat talking about. Sounds like she's talking about her personal experience. Weatherization is a joke. They claim you can apply for help, but then say you don't qualify, or the funds are gone. So this Biden thing that you're talking about, this is the new initiative, or this is something that's been going on for a while?
Yeah. So thanks for adding that comment. And I mean, definitely there's those barriers of weatherization. I mean, I might ask, are you talking about maybe the Habitat for Humanity Omaha weatherization program? Weatherization, definitely there's the name of weatherization, the acts, the different things that you can do to weatherize your home to make it more, trap that heat in the winter and help you trap your cool air in the summer. But the weatherization program, this chat chamber might be talking about is the federal funding that the Habitat for Humanity Omaha is kind of the lead organization on. If you're a low-income homeowner and some renters, you can apply for this program, and you can get someone to come out to your home and see what changes need to be made. But definitely there's some gray area there of who is all, how many people have been able to get this program, and whether or not you qualify. Those federal benefits, sometimes they have that cutoff that cuts people out who need it most. So I can say that from my reporting, I asked, the Habitat program how many projects they've done. They said in 2022, Habitat Omaha performed 150 weatherization programs. That was for 7 rental homes and for 143 homeowners. They also said that they're remodeling or revamping their program right now, so they don't have a program lead. I didn't get to talk with anyone at Habitat, and I'm hoping to follow up on that, because as much as there's resources we can share, like you can still apply for this program. There's individual changes you can make in your home. There's also that gray area that we want to learn more about. Like, definitely that's, you think about who can be a homeowner or who is a homeowner, or homeowner statistics in Omaha. Well, there's a lot more people who are renting who would need that help and need that, lessening of their energy bill. That and there's some red tape you have to walk through to get your landlord's input to put some of these changes in. The good news though is that you can apply for this, and we're hoping to report more on this as well, to kind of go into some of those concerns that maybe this chat chimer has.
We'll definitely be keeping our eye on that. We appreciate you deep diving and digging in and figuring those things out and providing that information. So we really appreciate it. We're going to have to wrap up here. We do have another guest waiting in the wings, but definitely we want to appreciate you finally for coming back. I mean, it's been a while, and it's always a pleasure when you're here. Really appreciate you coming through. Beyond what it is you're reporting on and what's going on, just how are you personally? How are things? I'm glad you're still in Omaha, by the way. So
yes.
I'll say that. How are things with you, with everything in your life?
Yeah. Oh, you guys are the best. Yeah, things are great. I just had 3 of my cousins came to visit, so I gave them the whole Omaha tour this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, and they loved it. This is their first time here. Actually, one of them had been through here when she rode her bike across the U.S., which is really cool. But yeah, she was like, I've been to this cobblestone area, the old market, all that. But yeah, it was really great to see family. I'm not from here, so I'm from Illinois. So they made the drive from Chicago, and always good to catch up with cousins. So yeah, I'm doing well, and just happy that it's springtime, like you were saying. Hopefully the nice weather of spring stays for us for this.
that part.
Make sure you take them down 24th Street and get some get and go fish. I'm some of the best fish in Omaha, man. Get down. Also on 24th, the new Fair Deal Cafe is back open. I heard it was good too. So yeah, get some North Omaha food. Let us know let them know how we do it.
Yeah, absolutely. That Fair Deal Cafe that just recently opened back up.
Yeah, it did.
Yep.
Sure did.
Yeah,
check it out for sure.
And this nice weather makes me want to get Idle Vital too. So
hey.
Yep. Idle Vital is vital every day, man. Every day for sure. So
absolutely.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for coming on, and we'll definitely talk to you soon. I can't wait to we can all meet up and go get some tacos here pretty soon.
Yeah.
The magic word.
Thanks, buddy.
No problem. New issue comes out Thursday. Everyone look out for it. New issue comes out Thursday.
Look out for it, and you can find all those Inflation Reduction Act things hopefully explained a little bit more clearly than the government does. So hopefully.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. You have a good one. Peace. There it is. It's always good to hear from Bridget, from El Perico, and the Reader. And without further ado, man, we got our next guest waiting in the wings. Let's go ahead and bring him on in, so he's not waiting anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, brother Qasim from the Beeee is in the house. Good morning, my brother. How you doing, man?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Man, doing all right.
It's always a pleasure when you come on the show, bro. I appreciate you coming on through this morning.
Appreciate y'all, man. More than you know, bro.
Apologize for the delay there, but a little bit. We had to give Bridget a little bit of time, eating in your time, but you got plenty of time here with us, man, to talk about what you want to talk about. So first and foremost, how are you doing as a human being, bro?
Man, I'm tired. I'm
Tired,
tired today.
boss. He tired.
Yeah, but for all the right reasons, so it's all good. I'm doing good over here, brother. How about yourself?
Good man.
Man.
Same.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm definitely feeling I'm feeling my age a little bit, but you know that just makes me want to try to push a little harder,
Mm-hmm.
so we can stay right. I got a little nephew that needs to still get a little rough and tumble going on with, so I got to stay in shape for him. My motivation,
Yes,
and
sir.
you know, and just still trying to put in the good work here, man. Trying to do the best we can do here with all this. So, appreciate, like I said, appreciate you coming on, and I'm gonna keep on trying to talk to you, man. I would love us in the next season for us to do like a BAA report, man, and keeping on top of what you guys are doing over there, how we can help. And so on and so forth. So I'm gonna keep on trying to bug you to make that happen on the next season, man. I know we got some things to talk about today, some very pointed things to talk about today, but we also want to catch up with you on what's going on with the BAA. Maybe we can start there. What's new happening on the land over there?
And we building. Right now we're still
Beautiful.
cleaning up. I want to give a shout out to Monkey Man Tree Care. And they've been extremely vital in the process. And actually, I got them coming over here to do some stuff on my personal home here shortly.
Oh, okay.
So right now we're cleaning and structuring things and preparing to move on to the next phase, which is building a facility of our own.
Building
Man.
the facility. That's what's up.
Man.
You guys got your plans laid out on that already?
Man, we working in it. We working on it, shall I say? You know, we got some blueprints and stuff like that. You know, drawn out. You know, so we're playing with that currently. You know, it's a little different when you self-sufficient about it. You know,
Right.
Oh yeah.
got to make the money count.
Yeah. It's a slow grind too. It's
It is,
definitely a
man.
slow grind, man.
Most rewarding.
Um, Oh yeah, exactly. The long game. But I mean, you kind of had a slip of the tongue, but I think you said it right, man. As far as working in it rather than working on it, because in the middle of all this building and clearing out of the land, you're still doing some work as far as the programming for the youth and working with the youth. So can you kind of speak to while you're building some of the things that you're actively doing as far as programming?
Yes, sir. So I mean, currently we have Urban Flag Football League going on, which we started with 4 teams. We've made it up to about 10 now.
Beautiful.
So we're growing. That is the only Pan-African league in the city. And when I say Pan-African, I mean we named all of our teams after the Garveyites and Harlem Hellfighters and the Black Panthers and so forth. You know, like I'd stated in the past, if we're going to have our children in these athletic programs, then they should get some cultural development process. You know, we're not Vikings, we're not Cornhuskers, Titans, Trojans, or any of those things. You know, so the Flag Football League, our you come down to the field, you got red, black, and green flags flying all over the place. Man, it's all love. It's owned and operated by us. It's private. You know, we have the Urban Manhood or Urban Survival Club that just jumped off. And we teaching the boys how to hunt, shoot fish. We're teaching them morality, and right now they're taking on a trade of carpentry. We've added carpentry to the process, headed up by my other brother, Hardjaw. Well, we call him Hardjaw. His name is James Henry on Facebook. Ask him how he got his name, sometime. So, those are some of the things that's going on. Then all of our security projects and, stuff like that. So definitely busy, man.
I do want to just really quickly. I wanted to make a suggestion. I don't know if Mr. Stewart is still tuned in. Mr. Stewart Knight is one of our chat chimers, but he's in construction and he's very adamant about working with young men. He's always talking about male driven organizations and programs, and just teaching and mentoring young men. So, Mr. Stewart, if you're listening, you might want to tap in with brother Qasim. He's touching the not he's working with the youth. I'll say that he's working with the youth and like really putting in the work. So, Mr. Stewart, if that's something you might want to tap in. I'm sure they can always use some help. Definitely doing the slow grind. So I just wanted to suggest that, and also give a shout out to Mayor Sanchez for coming through and helping as well, man. Some chat chimers already stepping up. So Definitely big shout out to everybody who's already helping with these brothers and sisters, because they're doing the work. They're doing the work. For anyone else who's interested in getting involved with what you're doing, I know you said the flag football is going, but if they have some young people that might want to get down, how can they do that?
Contact me personally, Qasim Shabazz on social media. Mikael Kareem. We do have a Black Agenda Alliance page. You send messages through there. You know, so Qasim Shabazz, Jason Bryson, Mikael Kareem on social media, or the Black Agenda Alliance public page, community page.
There you go. So, Mr. Stewart, I see you in the chat. Says we're at. Definitely reach out to him. The Black Agenda Alliance just dropped the link in the chat. So definitely go ahead and check them out if you want to tap in.
Bro, I've been seeing your security company
man
doubling and tripling. I keep on seeing more cats standing out there with you, man. How's that arm of what you're doing going as far as the security is concerned? You getting more contracts and stuff like that in the city, or how's that working out?
Man, I actually just got a huge contract. I haven't announced it yet. It's going to be major. Once I do, I got private bodyguard work here Friday for Sadie Hendricks.
Oh yeah,
really?
Yep. So they hired me.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they hired me to be his personal bodyguard. So I'll be with him from the time he land till whenever he leave. You know,
that's what's up.
But I got work, every weekend. I don't talk about it a whole lot, man. I mean, people don't realize that a lot of the crime that isn't taking place, man. Security, we don't, people don't realize what we go through. We had a standoff Friday night. At the tourist party. Then we had we was on a foot chase Saturday, and serious business. So your security. I want to give a shout out to my brother Gerard Christensen, Christensen Court. He runs 300 Protective Group. I have another brother who runs Inviticus Protective Group. So what we've done is we've merged everything. We'll have a unified patch and everything like that, because the way we look at it, yeah, man, it's so much out here for all of us. Of course, we'll have a universal standard, you know what I mean, our training regimen and all that type stuff. But man, it's way too broad to try to compete against each other in that realm. Whereas there's times, man, we're doing rodeos and everything else. We need 20, 30, 40 guys, and it only makes sense. And, so we're all brothers, so we do it like that. So yeah, man, we got tons of work.
Man, teamwork makes the dream work. That's a beautiful thing. And you kind of touched on it, man, and beyond what the BAA is doing, we always want to highlight that and, put that out front. That's important. But I do want to get into the nitty gritty, of what we're here to talk about, because you kind of said it as far as, being in security and just your front lines with it. We've been talking about what's really going on in the community, what's really going on in the streets. We've seen some reports about, some people saying shootings or murders are down and crime is so under control, and they're celebrating, which is cool. But we know that there's still a lot of work to do. So can you kind of speak to that as far as, the notion that shootings are down and crime is so down? A few chat terms have acknowledged, like, yeah, murders might be down, but people are still shooting. Like, what's really going on outside in the streets from your perspective?
Man, so this is what I'm gonna say. Those who are stating the murders are down, this, that, and the third, they don't have the control that they think they do, if at all. And so when I say that, in order to really understand the gang culture, you have to be, a part of the process in regard to actually understanding the people in it. When murders are down and shootings are down and stuff like that, that has everything to do with those particular individuals not beefing at that time. Not because resources are being provided, because they're not being provided. There's nothing in place dealing with the atrocities that we're facing when it comes to oppression. I hate when people make it seem like this is just something that is. You see what I'm saying? But nobody's really speaking to the real problem here. You know what I mean? So as far as murders being down and all that, and these people speaking, like, you got all this grant money coming through the city, which I ain't never touched a penny of it. All right, you know what I'm saying?
That part.
And we making it do what it do. You feel me? So when we start being real with ourselves about the process being more of a psychological one, okay? Because who's causing the oppression and the economic offsets and stuff like that, man? Those are the conversations we should be having. So those speaking to it, sitting in these rooms begging for the master's crumbs. Okay, I'm gonna say it like that. Our situation. I mean, I'm 38, man. I started this thing back when I remember becoming aware of the political structure back probably when I was maybe in my early 20s, and everything have gotten worse with all the money that ran through here, with all the switching of the power. Things have gotten worse. Things have not gotten better.
You talking about things on the street have gotten worse.
Yeah, things
in
on the street
Omaha
have gotten worse, man. They've multiplied. You know what I mean? They got these little dollars and stuff they got coming through here. These people are paying these salaries, man. They not putting in that real work. You know,
man. To that point, we had a guest on Friday who did acknowledge. Yeah, he did say that, you know, we kind of had this conversation about. You mentioned it as far as the dollars and the funds, and that's really what we've been looking at. We've been following the money for now last 2 seasons, if you will. And you know, it has been acknowledged that a lot of the money that's coming in, there's people taking credit for the work that the ones on you know, on the streets are really doing. So my question to you is, and we kind of talked about it earlier in the show, like, where, you know, follow the money, where is money going? So if the money that's coming to the community, isn't really going to the ones that's doing the work, I'm curious as far as like what do you need, or how can, because the work is still being done without the money.
okay.
You know,
Let me jump in here real quick.
go ahead.
First of all, I'm getting people in the chat are saying that you're breaking up kind of a little bit. On you want to make sure that you clear on what it is. We hearing you clearly. Do you have windows and stuff open on your laptop? That may help you. Not really. Okay, no. Then try this. Try dipping out real quick and coming right back in. Sometimes that resets everything, so your mic can be right. We'll just wait for you to do that real quick. If you can dip out and dip back in, so we can make sure we hear you right.
Yeah, before we ask any more questions.
Yeah. Hit leave and then get back in like you did in the first time on that link.
Okay.
Yeah. While he does that, I'll read some of the comments that's going on in the chat. Brother Knight says, "I really don't do social activism because I don't like people, but I will check out the Alliance and see where I can help when I have the time." The Alliance ain't really doing a whole bunch of social activism, bro. They doing actual activism. They acting. They doing reaching out and talking to the youth. And also, you know, putting their money where the mouth is when it comes to you know, buying some land, building out the black community in that kind of fashion, in a nationalist fashion. You know what I'm saying? Definitely not a social activism group for social activism's sake, but really kind of putting some things in. He says, I'd be more into ideological activism, and a black agenda is right up my alley. Only ones in town got a black agenda, bro, is the Black Agenda Alliance, as far as I'm concerned.
Making it happen.
Yeah. Brother Qasim, did you
Yeah, it would let me, it said it was gonna let me leave. I don't know if that's better or not. I did some stuff. I don't know if that worked.
Nah, you still getting and I don't think it's your fault. Huh? I think it's the oh, there we I think he's off now. I think it's the internet, man, that's got you all choppy, messed up. So let me send you out this way, and then when you go out, just go ahead and hit that link.
Rejoin.
Yeah, rejoin. Let me try that. Let me see if that works on. He still gotta come out. There we go. Okay, so we'll wait for him to come back in. There he is. Okay, he's back. Sound like he's back already. Okay, let's see if that worked.
Did that work out?
It did.
It sound like it did. Yeah,
you sounding clear now. Right on.
Okay.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you. I was just kind of explaining a few things. I realized that you probably got better words than I do about what the Black Agenda Alliance is doing. If you can give Brother Knight a little bit of explanation there. You guys aren't social activists. You guys are doing something that is along the lines of Black nationalism, bringing some agenda to an alliance to our organizations out here. So before you jump into the other subject here, can you explain what the BAA is to the people that don't know real quick? And also, while you're at that, you were involved with the talk that just happened over at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation with the Lewis brothers. Now that we're talking about feet on the ground, boots on the ground, people that are talking to the youth that everybody else is taking credit for. Could you speak a little bit about what the BAA does and why, and what your guys' involvement was with that meeting with the Lewis brothers over there at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, and what actions you guys have been taking?
Yeah, so the Black Agenda Alliance, it stands for BAA stands for the Black Agenda Alliance. If you look at the logo, you have the red, the black, and the green. The red, the black, and the green was given to us by the Honorable Marcus Garvey. We have picked up the mantle, and we are Black nationalists. That don't mean that we hate anybody and so forth. We just put ours first. We are self-funded. We look out for each other, and we are basically a community within a community. You have other organizations and people that are head organizations. One of them, for example, you have Sherman Wells, who just became a chair not that long ago. So we were nationalists, in regards to looking out for each other first and raising our own money. So that way, when we sit at the table, the conversation is different. We don't operate as a beggar people. We weren't designed for that. So everything that we do out of our backpack and out of our pocket. You guys see this BAA Omaha Warrior Society shirt. There's that would be considered the men of the movement, and some women as well, that we are those who train and just pretty much get prepared for whatever comes down the pipe whenever it comes down the pipe. You had a bunch of men in the recent picture that I just took that are Warrior Society members who volunteered their time to come out and make sure that the elders, the women, and the children of the drill team event recently that held probably over 500 or 600 people stayed safe. You know what I mean? So these are Black men that are stepping up, that are a part of that fraction of the Black Agenda Alliance. And then as far as the event that took place at the Malcolm X Center with the Lewis brothers, so we started a structure called the Street Scholars.
Yes.
Okay, and if anybody know the history between me, Leo Lewis, and Chrome Lewis, when I was out here dibbling and dabbling, I was the one that was giving the orders to take both of them guys out. Okay.
Wow.
They'll tell you this. They'll come on the show and tell you this. The story was told at the event. With my background being an enforcer and all that type stuff, so we wanted to come back and do what we do and did what we did best, and back in the day. And that event particularly was to begin the awareness process, and it was packed. And now we have something huge coming up. I'm not going to announce it yet. I'm going to let the flyer drop. To follow up, the community is begging for it. You had a bunch of OGs. You had some brothers that are still active on the panel. You see what I'm saying? Right. The only formula that can make that happen are those of us from the streets. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. People that ain't from the streets can't create that type of dynamic. And anybody that was there will tell you the same thing that I tell you. That joint was supposed to end at 4. It didn't end until 7. Because of you have brothers who stood back there in that room for 4 hours on their feet and didn't move and was all the way dialed in. We got pictures, so bringing the awareness and then putting things in place after the awareness to captivate our men, women, and children, and then we move forward from there. But just like fishing.
That's kind of what I was getting at again with that question, because again, you saying it, you're doing the real work, and those are like, to tell that story. I don't want to gloss over that story. Like, that's, to hear that story is a powerful story. To say that you were sent to kill these brothers, like you were sent to take the lives of the Lewis brothers, and now y'all are working together to change the community. That's not a small thing. and to kind of display that change. That's the real thing that creates change. And my question was, that's not always being supported financially. So how can we change that? How can and I understand that you're about self-efficiency and doing for self. But that still don't change the fact that these dollars need to be coming y'all way too. You know what I mean? That doesn't change the fact the fact that y'all not getting those dollars isn't right. So just kind of how can that be changed? How can we support more? The work that's really being done.
We working on some stuff behind the scenes
Okay.
to make sure that we get our ends meet. You know what I mean? And to make sure that, because right now what you have is, what I've learned, you got a bunch of elders, okay, some political figures who know better, and because they're not a part of whatever, they won't teach or give the game to those of us who are really affected, because then they put their position at jeopardy. This is what I've learned. And that it comes off as almost being a competition. There's people in this community that consider themselves ideal figures. Some have been on your show, consider themselves to be ideal figures who would not speak us up. Who know what we're doing, and we're the only ones who are doing it, and will not speak us up. Okay?
That's what really gets to me, man. One of the chat chimers said it last time we were talking. I think it was last Friday. We were talking about you guys, and somebody said it, like, how can we give the credit? Everybody is on national news and stuff taking credit. How can we give the credit to the people that are actually feet on the ground talking to these young ones? And of course, our first answer was first Sky Omaha gonna be the ones that give the credit. We need a lot of other people to do that too, though. We need everybody to really understand that, which is the reason why we are going to use all the powers that we got in order to make that happen. And the reason why we back you guys and are down for what you guys are doing. So again, just to reiterate a little bit for everybody that if you're just joining us, first of all, we're with Brother Qasim from the Black Agenda Alliance. If you hear us talk about the BAA, we're talking about the Black Agenda Alliance. They are part of several groups of brothers that are sitting down talking to these kids. The ones that everybody seems to be scared of, the ones that everybody is they be in the news for violence. And the ones that people are taking credit for, even nationally, for helping. These are the brothers that are on the ground, feet on the ground, talking to these kids that again in a position that some of us can't even be in. We all got our lanes. Us over here at First Sky Omaha, I wasn't in the gang back in the day. I can't sit down and talk to them kids like that. So that's why we team up with brothers like this that was in the game, that can sit down, that has the clout to sit down and talk to some young brothers and perhaps get on the same page. So we also, what we doing is the same thing that Brother Qasim is talking about. He's doing with these other security alliances. We're also trying to ally along with them to do the things that we do in the media to try to really kind of push that narrative out. As you can see by having El Perico, Bridget come on, that we talk in the back rooms with the Reader, with Flatwater Free Press, with Nebraska Examiner, with all these other people we trying to tell them the same thing. Y'all need to be shining a light on them. They're the ones that are making the real difference and doing the thing. Mm-hmm. So everybody that's a chat chime, everybody that's here that understands where we're coming from and understands that the Black Agenda Alliance are partners of ours, please do the same thing. Do the same thing. Let's tell the truth about what's happening. I spoke to Willie Barney a couple times. He agreed to come on the show and answer some questions about some things. We still are under the idea that everybody has a lane and has a place and can help if they all get on the same page and quit competing. I know that's not the Black Agenda Alliance's focus, but that might be something that us as First Sky Omaha can do. But whatever the deal is, we're all about trying to make some action happen and backing the people that are actually taking action and being down with it. So we appreciate you coming on, man. One of the reasons why we connected again, though, was because of all this news about PACE and the stuff that's going on in South Omaha. We misspoke the other day when we were talking about this in the first place, saying that PACE It has a lot to do. It's also reaching out to the North Side community as well as the South Side community. Brother Qasim gave me a call, set me straight on that. Pace hasn't really been reaching out to the North Side community, and what we need to really be doing is talking about the flag football situation that's going on with the BAA, because you guys have grown exponentially, first of all, and second of all are really focused on young black kids in North Omaha in a way that no other organization is doing. So I want to allow you to speak on that too, brother. Speak your piece on that, because we want to get on the same page and understand what we're talking about here and where our support actually needs to be going.
Right.
Let us know.
Solutions.
So are we talking about the pace situation, or
we can talk about the pay situation if you want to.
Okay.
Let's set us straight. Like I said.
So I've never, and I'm active. I don't know
Right.
where pace plays a role on the north side.
Right.
I've never seen them. I know that I started my flag organization before they did. I remember the police riding around who are riding around Miller Park watching, and then all of a sudden I remember pace popping up. You know what I mean? They ride around the park. They never stop.
Right.
Barely wave. Look at us like we're strangers. And the next thing you know, they got something going on over south, and that's cool. You know what I mean? And then as far as the whole situation breakdown with what took place with their situation, man, they the police, man. You know what I mean? This ain't nothing new. This is the history of the police department. The only difference between South and North, the South got caught, North haven't got caught yet. See what I'm saying? So that's the only difference between the two. They all dug in. You see what I'm saying? And what's the stuff I hear that they raised? I don't know, they kept 88% of the money that was raised and all this, that, third, man. We gotta be real. You know what I mean? We gotta be real. I go to work every day. I ain't out here selling drugs and chasing tail and all this, that, and the third, yada yada yada. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
We live honest. We try to do the best we can to live an honest lifestyle to make sure that we are really setting an example, you know, for our children and not being hypocrites in our work, you know. But
right.
As far as, you know, dealing with the children, you know, when it comes to our situation, man, you got to really understand the oppression. You know what I mean? No one wants to talk about it. You know what I mean? Right. And money ain't gonna solve our problem. You can give us all the money in the city tomorrow. Shit, all them billions of dollars that they talking about coming down the pipe, or millions or billions or whatever. I might not get a dollar of it, right? But it ain't gonna change our situation. It's gonna look as if nothing changed. You'll see a lot of people put money in their pocket. You're gonna have salaries, but ain't nothing gonna change, because my thing have always been this. Even when it comes to our children, if we're not teaching them from a cultural perspective, or we're not giving them the jewels of how their situation came about in the first place, then in my opinion, nothing really changes. You know what I mean? It's a conversation that most are afraid to have. You see what I'm saying? But that's where we come in, and it's not that, you know, when you stated earlier that we're not really on the, I think it was, I don't know, maybe I might have heard her on that we're not really on the, it's not that we won't collaborate per se with others. You know, it's more so we're nationalists.
Social activism is what we was talking about.
Yeah, well, we're nationalists. I don't know what social activism, I don't really know what that is, you know, but we're nationalists. I mean, everything we do is us first.
Man, I actually learned about a term, man. You might be able to, you might be familiar with it, brother Qasim. It starts with an F. It's like, I forget. I'm slaughtering the term, but basically the concept is, I believe this is in Jewish communities. If somebody in their community does something, like for instance, take Idle Vital in North Omaha. Everybody in Idle Vital should be going to Idle Vital and nothing else. Like, you shouldn't be going to Smoothie Kings. You shouldn't be going to Orange Julius. In some communities, some cultures, that's what they do. And I think it is Jewish communities and other communities. I forget the name. It's like Fuquin, or I forget the name, the term. But again, the concept is that even if the one individual in the community does the thing that they're doing wrong, you still don't go to anybody else. You go to them, tell them what's wrong, give them the opportunity to improve it, and that's what you use, and that's it. And some cultures use that. So the whole cultural teaching, I think, is a very, very important piece of it. And I do agree. I want to ask that as far as what do you think the real problem is? Because you kind of mentioned that or assessed that, but it's
Yeah.
it's cultural is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, well, think about it like this. If you just said what you just said about culture, and I appreciate you breaking that down. I just bought a book called The Jewish Phenomena. See, I was taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to study the enemy in all of his ways. I got the book upstairs. I started to run upstairs and get it, but I didn't want to disappear out the screen like Flash or somebody, right? So what you said, bro, you said culture, and let's get something straight. There's a difference between culture and history. Like what you just said really broke it down, because that's the Jewish culture, it's the Mexican culture, and so forth, right? But what happens when we done lost ours and we don't understand those ethics? Because if we understood those ethics, we would still have culture. You see what I'm saying? And so the only thing that I could really tie to is Black nationalism as a culture, because the Black nationalist technically is supposed to move the way that you just identified. With the whole Jewish frequency. You see what I'm saying? The problem is you got too many who look like us. You see what I'm saying? Who rather become comfortable with their power by begging the master for his crumbs, and it dociles him. It takes him away from the real fight. And all of us, we don't all think like that. That's why I said, when people say, can we all come together? And we're not all going to come together. That's not going to happen. May the best second win. See what I'm saying? That's just not going to happen. So when we get in our minds that this is warfare, because everybody else understand that. The Mexicans get it. The Jews get it. The Europeans get it. We the only ones who everybody want to come together. Then this other thing we say, the Black and brown. No, I'm not including. That's cool. But I'm not going to say the Black and brown, because the brown don't include us, and they struggle. I love them as my brothers. Them as my sisters. You see what I'm saying? But get that out of my mind too, and just focus on us, because I ain't seen nobody, love them.
Well, we gotta have a organization that just focuses on Black. Self.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. We can have other organizations that might help bring some of that together, but we also need that organization that has that focus. And I appreciate that you guys that the BAA does. I'm down. I'm all the way down for that. We only got a few minutes left in the show, man. I want to jump into the chat real quick. Von Chapman is asking a very important question. Where can we make a financial contribution for your efforts? And I think somebody down below put in PayPal info at BAAOmaha.com. Is that cool? Stacey Jean put that in. Is that cool?
Stacey Jean is the truth. Yeah, she's a donor. She's great.
She's a donor. She's a chat chimer. She's down with us. And man, it's the truth for real. He said they said Cash App at money sign BAA Omaha, and also PayPal info at BAAOmaha.com. So hopefully you got some brothers sending you some loot coming your way, and we'll be jumping on that as well. Also in the chat, a good idea from Tony Johnson 12. He said email newsletters are powerful. You guys, does BAA have a newsletter yet?
We just created one.
There you go.
That's what's
beautiful.
Up. We will spread that. We will spread the word to all of our email lists as well, man. In order to kind of get that out to as many people as possible. Gwen Easter said it's great to hear that black men are reaching our young Black men. This city doesn't like to recognize the organizations that have no control over. Unfortunately, Black leaders don't support them. So you got chat chimers that are agreeing with some of these things for sure. Kimmer Snipe says we still gonna get brother Qasim over South,
man.
But Kimber's a diehard South Sider, man. We had to adopt the term East Side because she's so about the South Side, and I'm learning more and more about the South Side. I'm glad that she's over there in the fight, but I do know that the majority of the Black community is still North Siders, and we do have different needs than South Side does. Even though I always call it East Side, I always try to include both. I appreciate being able to focus on individual needs as well. That is something that if I ever say that, I want you guys to understand that's where I come from on that. Yes, I'm always talking about Black and brown solidarity. I'm talking about East Side, North and South, but I recognize that South has different needs, North has different needs, and there is room for us to be paying attention to those needs individually as well. And then maybe there can be some togetherness at some point. But moving on in the chat real quick. Let's see. Where was I at? Let's see. Everybody's kind of talking to each other, man. Talking, figuring out how to get you guys supported. Let's see. Ariel's 402 is jumping in talking about American banks. You know, Ariel's 402 is brother Mayor Sanchez. That's Mayor Sanchez. I don't know if you know that. Yeah, and that brother represented us, man. Coming over, he said he asked me permission to represent First Sky Omaha and go over and work with the BAA. And I had some beautiful photos of him out there with the kids, showing them how to use the drones and all that, man. Beautiful. I really appreciate Mayor Sanchez for making that link in a big way. He said American banks didn't want a Jewish money in their banks. Jews were forced to do banking on their own. I think that's some of the next steps for us, man. Got to create some black banks for sure.
Oh yeah.
Also, Wanda Lewis in the chat, really appreciate her as well. The city of Omaha Parks and Rec has installed basketball courts and softball fields in different parks around North Omaha. However, it's under lock and key. People who actually reside in those communities are not privileged to use these amenities. Only for scheduled events and permission from the city. We don't actually have access to the amenities in our own neighborhood.
There you go.
Crazy. And now we're sitting here with a brother who has created amenities for our youth in North Omaha, and even was purchased land in order to do that very thing as well. Give me just a quick update on the land now that I'm thinking about it. What you said that you guys are planning on building a facility on the land. What are you doing on the land right now? Are you guys doing a flag football practice and stuff like that there, and training there right now?
So shout out to the Simple Foundation. I want to say that.
Simple Foundation. Okay.
Love the Simple Foundation, man. They've looked out for us, the Black Agenda Alliance, tremendously.
Okay.
They're quiet. They're real quiet. Brothers got it together. And I say that only because we got the MOU to the field down here, Spalding Park 3012. That's flat. That's where we have all of our games and all of our practices. Nice. The property that we purchased, the 8 acres that we purchased, will be up there. We hike up there all the time. It's beautiful trails. Ooh. We got a whole little fire pit thing going on. So we plan on building a state-of-the-art facility to house our own programming. Maybe even put a restaurant or something in there. And we own the land. We bought it and paid it off. So we don't have no ties to anything or anybody. It's 8 acres, and just cleaning it up. Man, matter of fact, Mayor Sanchez, the same one, brother. He was probably the first one who showed up. Volunteer wise, with a big old box of gloves and stuff.
Oh yeah,
that was dope, man. We appreciate that stuff. We remember that type of stuff, man.
That's a real one for sure,
man. For real.
We gonna get out there, man. Too, man. I'm down for some of that hiking. Now the weather's getting better. You don't see Paul B when it's snowing outside. I'm a child of the sun, but now that the weather's getting better, bro, I'm down to come out and do all that as well. Really appreciate you coming on, man. I'm sorry.
I need a banner. Not to cut you off, man. I need to get a banner, First Sky banner, big one, so I can get it up down at the football field, because we love and appreciate y'all, man, for, in my opinion, being the only network, man, that allows us to come on here and drop these jewels. So that's good enough for me. But we need a sponsor. We need a big banner, man, so I can put it down on the football field.
Bro, you got it. That's respect. We appreciate you, bro, for real. Hey, we building out our new website, bro. We prominently putting putting the BAA logo right there as a partner as well. So we're excited about the dual ship, man.
Yes, sir.
I'm really excited about it. We only got about a minute left in the show, bro. So we're gonna go ahead and let you go and say our goodbyes. But we appreciate you coming on, and we will definitely have you on regularly next season if you're down for that.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
There you go.
Peace, bro.
Peace. Appreciate you guys.
Peace. Love.
Man, there it is.
Tony Johnson with an idea. Live stream games.
Yeah, you read my mind, Tony Johnson. This is why we raising our money, so we can do stuff like that. And we got to do a first Sky flag football team. You're right, Arrows 402. We need a sponsoring team. Lots going on, bro.
I
With
mean,
that.
let's support it. Let's support it, man. That really reminds me of like the Snoop Dogg, you know what I'm saying, in his
Yes.
league and the resources and the support that he's received from the community and how many individuals, you know, from that has actually gone on to the NFL. Like this, you never know, you never know how many, lives could be changed with the resource like that. As far as, man,
We
you know
gonna
what I'm saying? That kid could either went to the gang or went to gangs or went to flag football. Like,
There you
never
go.
know.
We're gonna find out, Kimber Snipes, how much it is to sponsor one. And also, I don't know what the turmoil is going on over there with Pace if it's leaving the kids hanging, but you might be the conduit in between getting the kids that were in Pace over to BAA. You know what I'm saying? Like just some thoughts out there because we don't want to leave them kids hanging if they are going to be left hanging over this controversy that's happened. So anyway, in the meantime, man, we're gonna get out of here. It's 9 o'clock. Great show. I really appreciate that. Brother Qasim says that we will give you brothers a first Sky team. Ha ha. That's
Okay,
what's up.
okay. I might have some brothers that might be down to coach too. We might have to really put that in action.
Might got some little ones that might be down to go run that flag. So let's see what's
Hey,
happening.
hey.
See what's happening. Little man ain't really on the basketball court too hard, but he might be on the football field. You never
Okay, do
know.
some running.
He likes to run. That's for sure. We're gonna get out of here, buddy. You got some words for the people?
Man, as always, big shout out to our guests. We have some stories that we didn't get into, but that's okay. Stories ain't going nowhere. But the guests, it's important to talk to them while we can, man, to live alive together, man. So big shout out to brother Qasim Shabazz. Also, big shout out to Miss Bridget Fogarty for coming through and
Yeah.
speaking with us, taking time out of their schedules. Big shout out also to all of you for taking time out of your schedule to come in, tune in, and talk to us, talk with us. It is a pleasure as always to have this show and really to speak with you all and to get into the issues, man. So really never enough time, but we got to respect everybody's time and get on, man. So Paul B, with that, go ahead, take us away.
Right on. Pop says, great show. Thank you all. Much love and see you on Monday. Appreciate you, Pops. Really appreciate that very much. Also, Kimber Snipes says she's been talking to Brother Qasim. Has 2020 specifically about Southside Terraces. Okay, cool. We'll join that. Update us on that conversation when we talk to you Wednesday. Don't forget, we will be talking to Kimber Snipes. Put some respect on her name. And also Precious McKesson. Put some respect on her name. We'll be politicking with P and seeing what's good in the hood on Wednesday. So join us then. Ms. Erica Fell says this show was so good. Wishing everyone good health and feelings of success and contentment as the week begins. Drink water and be good to yourselves. Really appreciate you very, very much. Definitely see you on Wednesday. Great show. Ceci Jean says, gives us some applause. Gwenisha says, have a good day. You have a good day too.
Yes.
Can't wait to speak to the ladies on Wednesday and then the brothers on Friday. So full week ahead. And can't wait to talk to you guys again as well. So thank you so much. If you miss any parts of this show, you can go back and watch them in their entirety on Facebook and YouTube. Check out the show, and while you're at it, check out the chat because that's where really all the conversation happens. All the good comments, all the good information is in the chat. So definitely read that back over and dip in there too, man. And make sure you support the BAA. You got some ways to be able to do that financially, and as you can see, they also really appreciate boots on the ground, coming and helping clean up the grounds, and hands on with the kids, man. If you got any skill, anything that you want to be able to contribute and help teach a kid, get with the BAA. They may have a program set up and ready for you to be able to go do that. Because if we don't take care of our own, who's gonna take care of them? Nobody.
Right.
Nobody. It's going down. So we're going to get out of here. Thanks to the Omaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. We want to give a shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before them. We want to give a shout out to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you. Appreciate everybody who's joined in the conversation today. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Also, I want to give thanks to the people who are supporting us, First Sky Omaha. $10 people, $25 people, $50 people. Thank you so much for allowing us to continue this on. We're going to use some of that money this week to get a banner made for the BAA, bro.
Hey,
We're doing that. We're doing that for real. So really appreciate everybody who's joined us. If you are so inclined, go to firstskyOmaha.org. I'm sorry, firstskyOmaha.com and hit the donate button. Appreciate that very much. We will get into some haps on Wednesday, but until then, in the meantime, between time, you guys take care of yourselves. And again, I'm overflowing with appreciation for everybody right now for what it is that we're trying to do. So Thank you, buddy. See you Wednesday, and you guys have a good one.
Peace.
Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious, this is protected by the red, the black, and the green.